Metal Slug.
Armies need to be bigger. More minis. Less points. Caution. This is one of the things that killed Warhammer Fantasy back in the day. I'm not saying it has to be a slippery slope, but it could be. Just danger, concern, right? Tread carefully. Having armies with 200 plus models minimum was one of the things that killed Warhammer Fantasy Battle. Besides them mismanaging the absolute shit out of it, and also it just generally being a boring setting. Am I right, gamers? Anyway, yeah, I disagree. I think mostly because I want to never approach that. Bigger armies mean more expensive armies. I think they're expensive enough. Bigger armies mean longer games, slower games. I don't know that I want either of those things. In general, I would like cheaper armies, if at all possible. Shorter games. And, yeah, bigger armies are kind of like the opposite of those two things. If you want a big army in Age of Sigmar, we got big armies for you. Soulblight Gravelords, Gloomspite Geats, BOC maybe, you know. If that's the flavor you like is big armies, we got some big armies if you want to play them. But as a game, nah. No thanks. Also, yeah, transport as well. Good hot take, disagree. Monster Mash 3rd Edition was the most fun version of 3rd, and it's been downhill ever since. I see your game. Trying to butter me up. Because I am a Monster Mash player, and I enjoy Monster Mash. I'll tell you what, though. From the perspective of someone who plays only monsters, ever, even if they're not good. The Monster Mash season... You know what my experience was in the Monster Mash season? It was... Every time I tried to use Roar on anything, it's fucking immune. And my opponent got free points for killing my guys. That was the Monster Mash season for me. It was opponent getting free points for killing guys of mine. And when I try to roar something, he's like, it's immune actually. That was the season for me. But sure, I like Monster Mash just as much as anybody else, just as much as the next guy. I think there's plenty of Monster Mash. I don't want more of it in the game. I think that it should be rare. You don't want the game to ever become close to looking like that. You got Sons of Behemoth. You got Beast Claw Raiders. Who else does Monster Mash, really? As their main thing, like not a meme, but like what they're supposed to do. Because a lot of armies have a sub-faction where you're kind of like, hey, you can play Monster Mash if you want, but no one does. Like, which are the factions off the top of your guys' heads that are clearly supposed to do that as their main thing? Ironjaw's kinda, maybe kinda. Yeah, I think it's Sons of Behemoth, Beastclaw Raiders. Fire Slayers, even though I don't know that they're supposed to do it, but they have been doing it, so that's fine. Oops All Dragons, I guess. Gloomspite Trolls? I think Gloomspite Trolls is more like Gutbusters. They're just big foot dudes, you know. Oh, Big Trees did have a moment, you're right, Whiz-Biz. 'Biz. Make Iron Jaws and Cruel Boys separate and then delete Bone Splitters from the game. I think GW is way ahead of you on that one. Man, that looks weird when I press the button really fast, doesn't it? Anyway. Oh, Flesh Eater Court's a long time ago. Anyway, yeah, I like Monster Mash, but it should stay rare. I don't know, it'd be so arbitrary for me to invent some number, but in general, I don't want more than like 5 armies ever doing that, for the most part. It should be rare and fun. Come up with a whole bunch of rare and fun different ways to play with so many armies, right? Next. All death armies, all having a unit regeneration gimmick is boring, and good boy point systems suck. True. Holy shit.
Pop?
Pop, yeah.
Yeah.
Good boy point systems, I don't know if they suck, but they've definitely overused it everywhere in Chaos. And unit regeneration is out of fucking control. It's out of control. There's way too much unit regeneration in this whole game. It should be Death's thing. I almost disagree with them, because I think it should only be Death's thing. No, there just shouldn't be really any unit regeneration at all except in Death. The only exception, Gloomspite gets Sylvaneth. That's it. Yeah, there's too much. There's too much regeneration, half unit regeneration, every hero phase. I'm gonna roll dice and on a 4-up my guys come back to life. That was a mistake. Get it out. Keep Death special and unique. Remember what we just said? This should be possible, but let's keep it relatively rare so that it's fun and special and unique. Same thing. Oh, somebody asked what good boy points are. It's whenever you do something, you get the name of your god points, and then you can spend those points to do a really similar thing to what everybody else that gets those points can spend those points on. It's a little formulaic. It's becoming a little formulaic to me. We've seen it too much. Chill. Blood Tithe was cool. You went too far with it. You gave it to too many people. Come up with something new. Gaolu, thanks for the prime. I appreciate it. Before the White Dwarf broke the army, BOC had the fairest and most thematic summoning system. They did. Although no summoning at all should exist in the game, in my opinion. And GW seems to be moving in that direction. There should just be no summoning. I think if you have a 2,000 point army, you should buy 2,000 points of models. I don't want to ask you to buy 2,400 points for your 2,000 point army. So, in general, they've been reducing the number of things that you can summon or summoning rules. Every edition, they've been reducing it. It's almost gone now. I think it's kind of good. Ahem. Ayustein, thanks to the tier 1 for 18 months. And your dissertation still isn't done. Look, sometimes those things take a while. Just blaze it. Just win. What would be your solution to providing the endless horde fantasy of 3/4 of the death armies? I would give them regeneration. Yeah. I would just take it from everybody else, basically. Death are about the only ones it makes sense for, aside from Sylvaneth. Honestly, you could even take it from Gits. It makes sense in Gits, but you could give them something else. I'm just saying that it's only tiresome because it's too ubiquitous. If anyone should get it, it's 3/4 of the Death Armies. To be TBH. Is what I'm saying. Are you sure you don't want me to buy 3 extra bird greater demons? No, I don't. That's a cool, fun army, though, from a combo magic kind of point of view, but probably not good for GW. Take it away from Chaos and actually balance them properly. Ooh, that's a can of worms, but we could do it. We're almost through the Discord hot takes. Twitter approaching. Uh-oh. Number 19. Win percent in events is a mostly overblown stat and rarely applies to regular random games. Of course, yeah. This is a cold take. Whoever doesn't know this, damn. We're gonna have a lot to talk about. Yes. It's not necessarily an overblown stat. It's just the only stat that the average player can understand. That's the thing. And applying general statistics to whatever happens in a single game is always going to be goofy, right? Damn, I keep seeing crime scene footage of guys with ski masks stealing stuff. And so when I went to Lapham Peak, we got a state park near where I live, and they got cross-country skiing. I went there. Criminals, everyone is in a ski mask. I bolted out of there, dude. It was gonna be me, right? You don't want to necessarily mix overall statistics with like one thing happening. So yeah, essentially I kind of agree. You're right. But it's the only stat that anyone would be able to really understand anyway. Here's the real hot take. I don't even think we get the number of games that would make these statistics particularly meaningful. So few games of Age of Sigmar are played that it's a wonder it even kind of looks right from if you squint, you know? So there's that too. Anyway, good work. We're an hour and 17 in. We're halfway through half of one half of them, okay? We're almost an eighth of the way through the number of hot takes. Settle in. Get yourself a coffee. Stand up, move your legs a little bit. Dip that paint brush in the right cup. I'm gonna make some hot fucking chocolate. I'm gonna be back in 2 minutes. Move around a little bit. Call your mom. Ask her what she did today. Oh wait, I'll be back in 2 minutes. Maybe just do that later. Despite how calming that music is. I was told, by some mods in chat, that we're getting to the Twitter section of the hot takes, so brace yourselves. AoS should adopt an objective system like 40k and or steal some from Kill Team. The missions in AoS are almost all bad or boring. I don't know what the 40k or Kill Team objective systems are, so I really can't respond to this. I don't know. I have no frame of reference with which to judge this hot take, hot or cold. Because I don't know about 40k and I don't know about Kill Team. Hey, good work. Maybe true. I don't know. The Age of Sigmar missions are lacking. They kind of feel samey, don't they? but they're like reasonable. I don't know. You could do a lot. You could do a lot to them to spice them up. I don't know that we have to steal from 40k, but it seems to be kind of what they do. I don't know. Yeah, I can't say. In general, I talk about what I know, and if I don't know, I tell you I don't know. And I don't know. Imagine a content creator doing that. There should be some sort of restriction on spamming 1 or 2 war scrolls unless that's the only choice available for an army. No. No, I don't think I will. You are wrong. Shall we expand on that or just move to the next thing? This person doesn't want spam armies. I think spam armies are fun as long as there are not too many of them, and they're never the best thing to do. If we can exist in the space where being a spam army is not the best thing you can do in the faction, and there are not too many of them, that's the best outcome. Making it strictly against the law to be a Stonehorn enjoyer, go to prison. Illegal. You can only take 2 Stonehorns, then you gotta take 2 Thundertusks or whatever. You can only use 3 of the same unit or whatever. Lazy. Lazy player brain balancing. They don't like spam armies, and so they'll just make it illegal. Hey, if you don't want to see spam armies, write a book where spamming is not the best thing to be doing, so that the only people who end up spamming are the fucking weirdos who just love monster trucks, like me. And not everyone. 0 IQ take. Next. Stonehorn enjoyer, go directly to jail, do not pass go. Yeah. 40k has unit limits because the game is bad, and spam armies would be the best thing in every faction. Yeah, you write better rules then, you know. It's a band-aid fix. We don't want to actually balance the units in a book, and so we'll make it illegal for you to spam. Okay. It'd be better if you made it so that players didn't feel obliged to, you know. I don't know. Chill out. Write better rules then. Easy. There should be no prior roll on turn 2 specifically. Turn 3 should be the first point a player can get double turned. This is an interesting hot take, because I hadn't heard this suggestion before. Interesting hot take. Ahem. What this person is trying to do, their heart's in the right place. They're trying to stop the immediately the game is over games, right? That's reasonable. You don't want, in general, you don't want to have immediately the game is over games for a game that takes 20 minutes to set up in the first place, right? Maybe my experiences are different than yours, chat. Tell me. For the people that play the game. Oh shit, I'm experiencing Potemkin right now. Holy shit. Dude, imagine.
Now you've done it.
It's showtime. Ooh. God damn. Heavenly Potemkin Buster. It's me, Jubes. You donated $100, and I edited a custom fucking meme for the $100 tier. Thanks for showing it to everyone. I appreciate that. What's your message? You left a message, and it's just Lamal. Lol. All right. A man of few words, but many dollars. I appreciate it. Thanks for the huge amount of money. Tell you what, I'm gonna go to Perkins for their delicious gourmet coffee. One extra time with 1/8 of that money. Ahem. Hey, I really appreciate it. What was I saying though? I can't help but think that I was about to say something slightly poignant, or I'd like to think that I would. Oh yeah, to the people who play the game, because my experience is when you get doubled on turn 3, that's the crippler. That's the closer, right? Coffee is for closers. Turn 2, you do a lot of damage, but you're going to get doubled back maybe. There's still plenty of game to play. It's very rare that you just lose everything on turn 2. I've come back from more games off a turn 2 double than a turn 3. So there is that. I understand what they're trying to do here, and I don't even hate it, but I think that the turn 2 double is more, you're more likely to come back from it. The turn 3 double is the crippler of princes. It's the nail in the coffin. It's the points double, if you will. I don't know. I'd have to really think about it, because you're going to change the way people play and think about playing and the meta of all sorts of things. I don't know. I see you're trying to solve the problem of priority in some way, and that's, I guess, interesting. In general, I would disagree with the take, but not very strongly. It's an interesting idea, I guess. But I think it's maybe backwards or something. Bloodbath and Beyond, thanks for the tier 1 for 24 months. It would allow you to play more aggressively turn 1, knowing you can't get doubled. Yeah, Alpha Strike armies would get... I mean, you're immune to punishment for a long time. Would going first be good suddenly? I don't know. Run down the field, hit them up. You know, you can play... you can overextend crazy and you'll never get punished for it, really. Because you will never be turn 2 doubled. I don't know. It changes how people play a lot. So there'd be a lot of downstream effects on it. Ahem. If you want to fuck with priority somehow, go ahead, but I think the way that you tackle priority mechanically is by giving more things the opponents can do during another player's turn. The system itself of rolling for priority every turn except the first one, I think is fine. Just put more features in. Trouble Vision has a highlighted message that happened before the $100 donation. Like, Star Scourge Radon came in from the sky as a meteor and just blasted through his highlighted message. But I noticed it. And so I wrote this addendum. Player can still give opponent a double turn willingly. Yeah, okay, okay. You just mean you can't take... You still roll for priority and stuff, you just can't... You can't take one, you can only give one, is what you mean, Trouble Vision, yeah. What's been the hottest take so far? I don't know, I'll think about it. I don't want to go backwards, we got a lot of them. It's a different game, you play differently and guaranteed you go ICO games. Yeah, and I think it's a worse one. Well, it's not even a worse one, it's just... They clearly designed Age of Sigmar around priority. And so if you just slice it off and say the whole game is you go, I go, almost nothing works anymore because it's built around Prio being a mechanic. You'd have to remake the game. You'd have to remake Age of Sigmar because it's that fundamental. Maybe it doesn't seem like it, but it is, I think. Also in guaranteed you go, I go games where you're not trying to top deck every turn or something.
Now you've done it.
We are oiling. Jesus. CJ Busta, thanks for the $100. Drink Black China's piss out of another man's balls. Alright, hey, CJ, thanks for the $100 donation. I wonder if he had a message. Nope, no message there. Hey, thanks a lot. Great generosity, I appreciate it. I should really read things before I read them. I'm like Ron Burgundy over here. Anyway, great work. I appreciate the generosity. And good Dracula flow reference, by the way. Man's got taste. Ahem. Colossally common CJ and Jubes W's, both. Anyway, what was I talking about? Holy shit. What was I talking? Oh yeah, the Yugo Igo thing. In a Yugo Igo game where you're not like drawing a card every turn like Magic so that the game could change in the future, wouldn't it... We already, I think, have a problem with this. And it's the let's talk it out. You know? Is it even possible for you to win? How many points are we both just probably gonna get? You know? If it was guaranteed you go, I go, and nothing is really changing, I don't know. You could probably talk out the last 2 turns of every game. Close to it. Maybe there's one combat that matters. And you see if you get a 1 charge roll, or maybe if this guy kills that, but for the most part, we can talk out 2 entire battle rounds. Yeah, this is the max points you can get, this is the max I can get, I'll probably get these are guaranteed, alright, you know? I don't know. There's a foregone conclusion there that leads to a very unsatisfying way for games to end as well. And so I guess that's the boogeyman we're fighting against, one of them, on that side of it. With Magic, you can often do that, but at least you're still drawing the card to see, oh, maybe this is my out to that, right? But in a war game, you just have the things you have, so... And it makes whoever happens to go first, like, so brutally important in a competitive setting. Either, like, whoever happens to be favored, the person going first or the person not going first, whichever one it would be, that's probably, like, crazy important suddenly, right? I don't know. I hate talking out games. I don't like it. You kind of have to do it, but I don't like it. And the less of that, the better, in general, in my opinion. Dracula Woe. Ask him if he gives a shit. I don't give a shit. If I had a nickel for every time I gave a shit, I'd be broke. Because I don't give a shit. I don't care if I go blind. I don't need to see the price tag anyway. Jesus.
Now you've done it.
The triple? Dude, Milia is getting bodied tonight. I mean, don't read too much into that. It's a figure of speech. Yes, officer. Oh, yes, officer. I'll just get onto the ground. I will comply. As your arcade thinks, $100. This shit ain't nothing to me, man. Damn. All I needed to do was start quoting Dracula Flow, and I make $300 in 10 minutes. Ah! I'm making too much money. Alright, broke boy rolling up on my Amazon package. Dude, the way he speaks, too. So fucking good. You know, I should be paying my mod team, not the other way around, but don't tell them they're gonna unionize. Certified, get the fucking hey, I appreciate it a lot. You hope she's getting equally blown up at Frosty Faustings right now. Oh, is that happening right now? Damn, I'm usually watching that. Fuck it, I ate the Hey, hot takes. Let's get them. Every unit in the game should lose 1 inch of movement to account for the smaller table size, especially 4-inch models like Gotrek. I mean, you kinda showed your hand with this one, didn't ya? You know? Asking for a 3-inch movement. Good meme. Good meme. 3-inch dwarf movement. Yeesh. Ahem. Amelia rolled up on my Amazon package, so I skinned her alive, yeah. I mean, this is, yeah, I mean, no. Good meme, though, for making people almost not even move. Yeah, movement isn't the thing. Everybody charges 2d6, like Link's deity said. Magic as it currently exists in AoS is fundamentally skewed and broken. It is a relic of Warhammer Fantasy Battle and sucked there to remove 2d6 casting system entirely. To be replaced with what, sir? Skewed and broken. I don't know what you mean. Is the magic system perfect? No. How is it skewed, though? I don't know. You roll 2d6. Your opponent rolls 2d6 to try to stop you. It's pretty, you know, that's a wide spread. It's kind of random. It could be a better system. Alright. Haves versus have-nots for skewed. Oh, okay. Alright. So, like, Slaves to Darkness, be rolling 13s to cast. You just can't participate against that. Techless. Auto casts, you can't unbound. You just can't participate against that. Maybe Nagash with like +3 unbinds and just shit like that, you know. I don't know, man. There's probably 4 out of 27 armies in the game that have unassailable spellcasting. And that's kind of like, you know, their army's thing. That's their shtick. Alright. I don't think that's... Is that crazy? Some armies are really good at movement. Some armies do a shitload of melee damage. Some armies... really durable. Some armies are all glass cannons. Some armies be praying. Some armies go all in on magic. I don't know. I don't know that I care enough to say that the system is broken, or care that some armies have unassailable magic might. Okay. Look, when I play against Techless, I never get to unbind his spells, and when I try to cast spells, he just unbinds them. Yeah, I'm fucking ogres. We have gut magic. It ain't good. Alright. That's what I would expect. But when I crash 3 Stonehorns into a bunch of Sentinels, they turn into a fine mist. And I collect it in a martini glass on top of my Frost Lord, swinging a bear trap around on a 50-foot chain, dip a chicken nugget into it, and win the game. I don't know. Seems it's balanced. Fair and balanced, I say. But also, every army list I make just so happens to accidentally devour techless armies. As a byproduct, I assure you. Techless Lumineth doesn't exactly love to play against Kragnos and 4 Stonehorns, you know? Anyway, Kicker 7. Thanks for the tier 1 37-month streak. Gotta keep it alive. Big and true. Your cold take, the best wizards in the universe of AoS should be good at casting. Yeah, I mean, this person's take is probably they shouldn't be as good or something. I don't know, I don't care. I have free shrugs. If you can't beat the armies like you always lose to them, I don't know. I don't know. It's fine. Maybe it's not fine, but I don't know. I don't think I feel too strongly about it. There are some magic armies that beat me and some non-magic armies that beat me, and I don't know. AoS players should give Blood Bowl a chance. No. I don't like board games. I'm not interested in board games. I don't like football. I don't like really sports at all, actually. I think the models of Blood Bowl look stupid. I do not like them artistically. And they're made out of materials that I don't like working with. There's nothing, and the humor of Blood Bowl does not hit for me. It's not funny. It's like stupid. There isn't a single part of Blood Bowl that is even remotely interesting to me on any level. Lots of people love Blood Bowl. Good for them. There are so many good design choices and no one will ever respect it because of the tone and subject. No, it gets a lot of respect. I disagree. The most common take I have heard from old guys, old GW guys with faded Ronnie James Dio t-shirts, 56 years old, you know, grew up in the 80s playing Hero Quest and shit. The most common take I hear from that era of Games Workshop fan is that Blood Bowl is the best game Games Workshop has ever made. And then after that, maybe Mordheim, they say. So I think I disagree. I think it gets a lot of respect, at least anecdotally, from what I hear. Just not from me, because I don't like football. I don't like board games. I'm not interested in the gameplay of it. I don't like the models. I don't like the art. I don't like the humor. Just everything. You couldn't get a more not me game. I'm not him. Than Blood Bowl. XCall. Thanks for the follow. More like Age of Blitzball. Where's the eject shot? Am I alright? D6s are archaic. And for skirmish, side games, we should move to a higher number die for more meaningful modularity. But GW will always fuck it up. Modularity? I don't think they meant modularity. But I know what they mean. You know? What they meant was granularity. But chill. Tons of Games Workshop players aren't, maybe English isn't their first language. They typed it in quick. Don't worry about it. We gotcha. We understand what you mean. You're talking, it seems like you're talking about skirmish and side games, and so I don't give a single fuck about any of them. So, yeah, sure. Use a D10. See if I care. Side game ass. Whatever. I wish you well. Sure, yeah, do that. I don't care. 2K is actually too many points to play at model-wise. The game should be scaled around the start collecting, and a box or two at the baseline, and 2K should be considered EDH level of AoS. But EDH is the best and most fun way to play Magic. So, wouldn't that just get us right back to where we are right now? With 2K being what everyone does, because EDH is kind of the most popular way to play Magic. Right? What does this actually change? So you scale the real game down to 1.5, and then 2K is AoS EDH, and then everyone plays EDH because it's the most popular. And what did we change now, right? Brief summary of EDH. Elder Dragon Highlander. What old people like me call Commander. And so, even though these are anonymous, this hot taker is hot taker. How's your knees? How's that back? Also, no, because 1K sucks. It's not balanced. The rules of the game work at 2K. They kind of work at 1.5K, and they don't work lower than that. So no, I don't want the game to be just like way shittier. Disagree. If you mean change the rules of the whole game so that the game is different, then okay, whatever. But yeah, no. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Oh, one thing I should point out though. Start collecting in a box or two at the baseline. This is something that their marketing guys have to figure out. Because you can just get like you can just buy a precon. Even though they suck, they don't suck as much as they used to. If you want to play Commander, you just buy a precon. If you want to play Age of Sigmar, you buy a start collecting, and the shit in it you were lied to. Like, I don't know. It's not an army. A lot of times you can't even build an army out of it. It's going in every different direction at the same time. I don't know. That's something the eggheads have to figure out. Personally, I don't much care, but yeah. All right. Yeah, they do arguably work the best at 3K, but I would say that because my army is way better at 3K than it is at 2. Even relatively speaking. And I know that precons are a lot better than they used to be. They used to be almost unplayable. You know, we must sell warlocks, Doomfire warlocks in every start collecting. Please get them out. Get them out of our factory. Please. What's written on the big cup? Perkins. I got Perkins. Only the highest quality gourmet coffees in the Heywoah log cabin wizard tower. I got the perks. One perk is never enough. The game should be unbalanced. Perfect parity is boring. True. Yeah. You're right. Is this a hot take? I wonder. I guess it just depends on how people feel about it. Yeah, that's true. You don't want perfect balance. It's unbelievably boring usually. Think back to the best, most fun games you've ever played in your life. The fun things about them are almost always the ways that they were not balanced. Actually. You could take this to a lot of different extremes one way or another. This is a really long conversation. Like, we'd have to define our terms even, and you can't even define your terms. You have to talk about what it means What does it mean to be balanced to you as the designer of a game? Do you want 50% at tournaments? Do you want average people to win every other game? Is it not even about how often you win? Is it about how often the players feel like they have a chance? Does it mean no bad matchups? There's just a lot, man. It's almost too much to talk about, probably. How many points are a pawn versus a bishop? Yeah. In a game where you have a different, like, it's not a mirror match. In chess, you're playing with the same pieces, and that game still isn't balanced, I think. White has, like, a slight advantage, maybe. Maybe not with computers, but... You have to allow players the opportunity to fail. And you're doing that by making their armies custom, right? At a certain point, you can't. As long as a player can build their own army and choose their own units, how can you possibly make it so that the person who chooses the worst things for their army and then plays bad still wins half the time? If you made a game where that was possible, what you really have made is a game of flipping a coin, essentially. You either add so much randomness that player choice doesn't even matter, or you homogenize everything so much that everything's the same and player choice doesn't matter. I don't know. I mean, in general, I guess I sort of agree. This person is probably pushing back against all these people that are obsessed with balance. And maybe some of those people are being unrealistic or ridiculous in certain ways, I guess, or something. But it's way more complicated than just that. In general, yes, though. Perfect parity is boring. Ahem. If we center the game around Vanguard boxes, should Nagash Archon, Kragnos, Daddy just solo those entire armies? What? If we center the game around Vanguard boxes? I don't know what Vanguard boxes are. So I guess I'm not sure. Oh, it was in reference to the 1k points thing. Okay. Yeah, the 1k points thing. That was dumb. In fighting games, tier lists only matter at the highest level of skill. Win rates only really matter at the highest level. Everything underneath should just be fun. That's the interesting thing, Trouble Vision. You don't even unlock the truth of the tier list until you're good enough to not really care about it in the latter case. Somebody who says Cities of Sigmar is the best army right now, let's pretend they're right. If I give it to a new player, are they going to go 5-0? No, they will lose. Because they're not good enough to play the army at its highest potential. Right? So what does it matter that it's the best army? On a tier list, even. You know? I don't know. There's the tier list casual paradox that I've heard people talk about before, where essentially you can't make good use of a tier list until you're good enough to no longer really need it. I guess you could make a tier list for like brand new players or something like that, but you're going to grow into whatever you choose. Why would you want to pick something because it's, let's say this is the easiest one to get free wins with if everyone sucks, but as soon as everyone doesn't suck, it's the worst character? Who would ever choose that? After you play 6 games of Age of Sigmar, you're so much better than the first time you played the army. You want to give yourself room to grow. It's like getting a lizard and then putting him in a tiny little cage. You want to give him a whole aquarium or something so he can become huge. tier lists are great as an entry into talking about balance and what makes a character good. That's where the value really is, VMonk, I think. The value of a tier list, interestingly, is not where everything goes on the tier list. It's the person explaining it, giving you an insight into what's important in the game and why. That's like, to me, the real value of a tier list, and you kind of can't get that with just the image, at least in my opinion. Yeah, say jam content. Alrighty then, chat room. 50% in on yes. Rock throwers. Anyway, fuck it, I'll say it. 5 is equal to 10. The libs get grand hammers at 5 men, but my blood warriors need a full 10 to get the gore cleaver. That's fucked up. It is fucked up. But 5 ain't 10. Good meme, though. Next. Underworld's warbands are the most important releases we get because they are allowed to make interesting sculpts. In general, 40% true. The average warband is kind of boring and features Silence brand, corpo meme, fucking crab dog bullshit. A decent percentage of them are either teasing or kind of a replacement that doesn't quite work for an actual box that's ancient and sold for the army, and that sucks. And then the final, whatever, 30% are, yeah, they got to be creative. That's cool. Why don't you be creative for the main game, the better game, Age of Sigmar? Anyway, I am a side game hater, so please understand my perspective here. Every side game ass release, I just see the ghost, like the Jedi Force Ghost outline of, yep, that could have been Bestigor, that could have been a box of Bestigors with brand new sculpts, but no. It's the 5th barbarian, 5 fucking barbarians for Slaves to Darkness and a dog or something. Yep. Nope. There it is. I can just faintly see it. Yeah, those are clan rats. They could have had new clan rats, but nope. It's a fucking guy with boots and a Helsing looking ass crossbow and hat. And a fucking dog or something. I don't know. That's unfair of me to think, but keep in mind that I at least admit it. Another 5 named characters for 275 points that'll be in a battle tome for 1 year before it's no longer ever sold again. And so you play with it for a while, and then in 5th edition it's just gone. Hey, another 10 Cursed City heroes in the Soul Blight Gravelord's box. Are you gonna keep selling those? In the 4th edition Battle Tome, are all the Cursed City people still gonna be there, or are they gone? Because if they're gone, that's weird, like you wrote Dynasties for them. How's the support looking? All right. Anyway, some of them are very cool. Counts as for your hero. It's like, oh, here's an alternative sculpt for my cool hero, but that's copium. Anyway, good hot take. Mostly disagree. AoS is a serious competitive environment. Oh, I'm sorry. I misread it as is a, and I was about to laugh. It is not. It is not a serious game. It is not a competitive game. As a person who has played competitive Magic for a third of my life, Age of Sigmar is not a competitive game. It is a game that some people choose to play competitively, but it is not a competitive game. It does not have the structure for it. It does not have the support for it. It doesn't have the time for it, nor the tournaments, nor the integrity for it. If people who work for Games Workshop can enter a tournament and win their own money, you don't have the integrity to run cash events. But that's neither here nor there. AoS in a serious competitive environment is a mistake. Trying to adopt an esports model is ruinous to the core of the hobby. Narrative without the homework is and will always be the best way to play. No. Swerve, you thought I was going to agree with this. Got you, okay? First half, in general, correct. Second half, wrong. Narrative is a meme. Nobody does that. It's a meme. I don't believe that almost anyone actually plays narrative. What they mean by narrative is playing matched play without priority or some shit, without battle tactics. That's what they mean by narrative. Path to Ignore. Got him. Would you call Holy Wars narrative? Yes. I don't know if Steve Herner would, but I do. And I think that's so rare. It's the only example I could even think of in general. But Holy War, I don't even know. It's really competitive matched play. It's just also narrative. It's both, really. The table's trying to kill you, man. I don't know. I think narrative players are kind of a meme. But serious competitive environment is a mistake. I don't know. In general, yeah, if we're talking, if there was like a Star City Games Age of Sigmar thing, yeah, you can't handle that. I don't know if they mean not having tournaments at all, or I don't know what they mean by esports exactly. They show a game or two on Twitch sometimes, but I surely wouldn't count that as an esport. Yeah, I don't know. You want to play narrative AoS, come up with cool lore reasons your armies are fighting, that's narrative. I do that anyway. I don't know. Anyway, this is like a broad sentiment. I'm not sure the level to which they mean it, I guess. I will say one thing, though. From a content creator point of view, as an audience, Warhammer is... I'm trying to choose my words carefully so I don't insult anyone. If you're watching live Warhammer be played, it is the worst audience experience of almost any game I could imagine. It's the worst game to watch. Chess is more exciting to watch than Warhammer. It's the worst experience as a viewer. It's so bad, I don't think it's fixable. I don't even think it's possible to fix it. Golf is still the top spot? No. The camera follows the golf ball. It at least does that. Like, golf is hella boring, sure, but the camera at least follows the ball. And yeah, League of Legends is ungodly boring to watch. even though they're paying professional commentators to just scream and get really hype when fucking nothing is happening. Warhammer is, you can't. It's unwatchable. Live. I'm talking live, okay? Somebody, Dredgeheart from chat, first time chatter, they're like, Battle Reports channels, edit them way down. Yes, okay, you can edit them way down, and you can edit them into an eatable chunk, right? An edible chunk. Live, you can't. You can't fill that much air. You can have two really funny, interesting people talking to each other. They're going to be talking to each other for 20 fucking minutes in between anything that matters happening in the game. It's not okay. You can't do it. And therefore, it can never be an esport. Because no matter how much money you pump into an esport, it actually has to be interesting to watch. For people who know what they're doing, and especially for people who don't know anything. You have to instantly and easily recognize what the fuck is happening. The commentators are there to help that. That's why fighting games are the perfect esport, actually. Not in numbers or anything, but just in philosophically. If you don't know anything about anything in a fighting game, but you're watching it, you got giant health bars at the top of the screen. Whichever health bar is smaller, that person's losing. Like you know, all right? You might not be right, depending on other resources and stuff, but like you can get that, right? Why do you think there's so many comeback mechanics in all the new fighting games? Because it's fucking hype for people to watch. You know? Yeah, Counter-Strike, Valorant, Quake, you know, anything. You're at least watching people shoot. When the gun fires and the guy over there dies, you're like, oh, okay. That just happened. All right, I don't know. I'm probably reading too much into this thing, but football commentators are better than esport commentators. I mean, yeah, but regardless. Describes a KO game. No. They drive their ship right up next to him and then they shoot him. No more long range. So I guess there's my hot take. Live Warhammer is coma-inducing. It's so boring. It's the worst viewing experience ever. And I don't think there's a level of production value that can save it. And therefore, it can't be a good esport. And then there's all sorts of other really good reasons why it isn't a serious esport. Tournament structure, the length of games, the quality of the rules, etc., etc. Holy Wars, Holy Havoc, best events ever. In general, yeah, they're in my short list. I would always recommend them. They're awesome. Allow armies to keep their faction battle traits, but not sub-faction rules. Into the trash it goes. Do I even keep reading? You're in the trash already. I guess I'll keep reading. For instance, Doc get their 6-up ward and their blood rights for a friend. I hate this idea, actually. Okay, good. Damn. This is anonymous. This is anonymous. And they knew this take was so bad, they still apologized for it. Holy shit. Yeah, true. Yeah. Sub-factions are way less fun than they used to be. Sub-factions in 2nd edition were more fun. They had more rules on them. They dumbed them down this edition, and the game's worse for it and less interesting. Obviously, a meme, you know? Couldn't even do it anonymously. Good meme for a friend. Asking for a friend. We're into the Twitter takes, boys. What can AoS do to make escalation leagues viable? You feel like these are the main things that keep local scenes alive? I don't know. Here's I don't have good advice for a billion-dollar company. Because I'm talking to 100 people on Twitch, right? But here was my experience. I saw a game called Age of Sigmar. I watched a friend play it in real life 2 times. And then I researched everything about the game for the next 2 weeks. Looked into everything. Painting, rules, all the different armies. Figured out what I wanted to do. And then I acquired 2,000 points. I bought a little bit 1 month, painted it up, bought a little bit the next month, painted it up, so on and so forth. Till I had 2,000 points, and then I played the real game. I don't know why anyone would do anything else. This is probably my weirdness. I get the distinct impression that I'm the outlier here. I don't know why you would want to play a shittier version of Age of Sigmar for 5 months. Or even forever, or 2 years, or whatever, as you slowly collect points for the real game. It's like, hey, I want to play chess. So I'm going to play with 2 rooks and 3 pawns for 6 months. Why? Just play chess. Just play the game. Well, it's too expensive to buy 2,000 points right away. Then don't. Buy a box per month, finish painting it and assembling it over the course of that month. Next month, buy the next box. It's almost like you're financing it, right? You're spreading the cost out over however long it takes, and then you got yourself 2,000 points. I don't understand. You don't play until you're done? I played with empty bases at my friend's house. Yeah. Before I even chose what I wanted to play, you gotta try before you buy. What if I didn't like the playstyle? I'm not trying to waste money. Yeah, of course. Played on... TTS didn't exist when I started, but I would have done TTS. I did like empty bases, proxied up a bunch of armies, see if I like them. I'm trying to be a smart shopper, yeah. You play 2,000 point proxy games until you've acquired the whole thing, that's all. It's like weird to me that everyone's trying to play 600 point games. Why? That sucks. Or 1,000. Ugh. Game doesn't work at those points levels. You're very disciplined, I think. I don't think so. I was addicted to smoking for a very long time before I quit. Amongst other things. Before I quit those too. I don't know, maybe I got disciplined or something. Most people just buy Start Collecting to start out. Why? When I started to Start Collecting featured things that I wasn't going to use. Why would I buy things I'm not going to use? I want to buy things I am going to use. Maybe most people are not smart shoppers. Which, if you told me that, I would very readily believe you, but... Brandon made things with the tier 1 for 17 months. Bummed to have missed so much of the hot takes. Any insightful things popped up? Yeah. Please look forward to it on Heywoah Plus YouTube. Trying to have games not last 3 hours. I mean, if you prefer 1K games, then just do those. It's just that I don't. And I think the game works better at 2K, that's all. If you prefer smaller games and it works for you, then... You know, I'm not going to tell you how to live. Do what you enjoy. You know, it's like Bob Ross said, if it feels good, do it. Although don't run away with that one, because consent's important, but whatever. You're coming from Magic the Gathering, where people proxy and use whole decks. They don't. Well, they didn't used to. That's a very recent phenomenon, Trouble Vision. COVID changed things. Besides proxying up decks to test with your team for the next Pro Tour or the next GP or something like that, besides that, the culture of proxying is just something I had never even seen until probably post-COVID or during COVID. So yeah, I think that's a very recent phenomenon. I mean, maybe kitchen table, like true kitchen table, like not even card store, but actually on a real kitchen table. A lot of people were proxying stuff, maybe, but those people can't be counted, right? Because they don't do anything or go anywhere or buy anything. And so it's almost like they don't exist anyway. Why shouldn't the game work at smaller point levels? Because the rules that they have written just happen not to scale down well. And I like the rules as they are, and so I don't want to change the rules to make a different version of the game better while sacrificing the real game that I like, in so many words. You come from a different game, you can't play Magic with a 30-card deck? Sure you can. You can play with a 40-card deck. It's called drafting and sealed. It's limited. They have a whole ass on-ramp for you. It's limited. You build up a 40-card deck. You split your box between your 7 other friends. That's their on-ramp. Is limited. And then there's constructed that you grow into, for the most part. I think. Pixel G, thanks for the Prime. Appreciate it for 3 months. You're back? Alright, hey, welcome back. Do you ever play on Cockatrice? Or did you go straight to TDS? Cockatrice came around when I was just starting that, but most of the time we met in person with the old team. There was a bit of Cockatrice, yeah. Some armies work alright at smaller points, but it does feel more... Yeah, I don't think you quite have enough guys on the table to survive the priority mechanic. That's really the thing. I think, in general, the murderousness of everything in Age of Sigmar, because it's a deadly game. They want the game to be deadly. And that plus priority is... I don't think you can quite survive priority at 1k. Like, you probably just lose everything. I don't know. I don't play a lot of 1k, so it's hard for me to say. Yeah, Azrael, I think Vince was talking about it before. If you want to play 1k games, consider doubles. Because the best way to get into any game is by getting in with the boys, right? It's getting in with friends. And 2v2, everybody has their 1k army. Like, that could be nice. Get some multiplayer rules, maybe. Triumph and Treachery. Now that's the good stuff. If I had to recommend some type of 1k, it would be that as a compromise, I guess. The best tournament format is team doubles. You'll die on the hill. I've been in a few doubles events, and I liked them. I enjoyed them. Hot take, Stormcast should never have been headlining faction for Age of Sigmar. Obviously true, and it's not even a hot take. I made a video on YouTube essentially called Stormcast are cooler than you think. And I think that's true. But they never should have been the headliners for AoS, and they only were because it worked for Space Marines. And they're like, well, that exact thing worked for Space Marines, let's just do it again. Because it'll work again this time. And it really didn't. It's fine. It wasn't like a terrific mistake that ruined anything. It's just... it's not working how Space Marines did. That's all. Cities of Sigmar should be the main faction for AoS, obviously. Because they are the world building. Not even a hot take, just correct. And it really did not help the early AoS hate. But they also looked terrible, and the art was bad, and that didn't help either. A lot didn't help at that time. If you expect me to defend on release Age of Sigmar first, I will not. The game was trash. And it doesn't hurt to admit that. It got better. Water under the bridge. Same thing with Final Fantasy XIV and No Man's Sky and maybe Cyberpunk or whatever. It got good, who gives a shit? They fixed it. Snatterino. I don't know if I can ask right now, but who is the best miniature in AoS as a whole? The best miniature? We did this. I did a tier list on Heywoah Plus about it. The greatest sculpt in Age of Sigmar, from the perspective of the craft. The craft of sculpting miniatures, okay? That is the Loon Boss on Mangler Squigs. That's easy. It sits alone in first place. There is no second place. And then third place is a whole bunch of awesome looking shit, admittedly. But it's Loon Boss on Mangler Squigs. If you care about the craft of film and cinema and the art of sculpting miniatures and silhouette and implied movement and implied weight and angles and telling a story with what you're looking at over time, and the structure of how the chains are both load-bearing and look like they're moving, all this stuff, right? And how much you're giving the painter to do. Are you giving the painter too much to do, like with the knights in 40k, which is why they suck? Or are you giving the painter too little to do because there's actually too many details, like most third-party models, if I'm honest? Truly, soul. Hey Barracuda, thanks for the tier 1, by the way. TYVM. Preach. Hey, I've been staring at this flame that says remove mortal something for too long, but I'm out of the perk. I'm off the perk. So, I'm getting a drink. This shit's empty. That's Perkins Twitch Cops, by the way. Chill. BRB. Get up, stretch your legs a little bit. You know, you don't want to sit for too long. Stretch those knees out. Centurion 130, thanks for the big prime. Appreciate it. BRB. Oh, nice. Windows Defender. Hey, thanks. Yeah, no viruses. Got them. I'm glad you had to share that with the stream. Poof. Yo. We back. I was flipping bricks for Mansa Musa before y'all even became a Type 1 civilization. Remove mortal wounds on the charge from all cavalry except for get out. Mortal wounds are a great mechanic that locking primarily to Slaves to Darkness, or making the shitty spell-only versions, is a crying shame. Most factions ought to have access to these in some way. Most factions, no. They're neat. But again, 3-up armor save army haver thinks there's too many mortal wounds in the game. Player detected. Trying to sneak in a reduction of mortal wound damage into the game with an otherwise reasonable sounding poison pill. I see your game, and I detected it. You did this one already, like near the start? You don't know how many repeats there are. The mods, I think, removed some of the repetitive ones, because there were more than one of the same. But, you know, some of them stayed in. You can't get them all, right? Rune wards are neat. Did they need to be in every army? No. My 3-up armor army takes essentially 0 damage from anything except mortal wounds. So anyway, there's too many mortal wounds in the game, am I right, gamers? Bliss Barbs wouldn't be busted at 140 and GW only increases their points cost because they are taken in large number and not because of performance. Well, they were overperforming, so what do you want to do? Slaanesh army, and especially war scrolls and units and rules, it's a fucking mess. If you're desperate to try to balance something, I suppose you should go after Bliss Barbs, but really, as always, write better rules in the Battle Tome. That's the real answer. Like, what else is good in Slaanesh besides Bliss Barbs? I don't know. How about you can only take 3 Bliss Barbs so that the rest of your army is just shit? How about that? Wouldn't that fix it? What if it was illegal to play more than 3 of your only good unit? That'll fix it. Oh, geez, we got a nice blog. Okay, 200-word essay. Chill. Melee weapon ranges are an obsolete mechanic. Stopped reading there. True. We're done. I don't... Whatever else the fuck this guy has to say could only serve to weaken his point. The man's right. I actually don't know if a man wrote this. But... it's manly. It's manly because it's true. You're right, yeah. It should just be ranked fighting. I'm normally really against bringing in your 40k space sci-fi rules into the fantasy game of AoS, but I like the cut of double ranked fighting's jib. However, for single models, you would still need to keep weapon ranges. That's fine. Doesn't take that long when it's only one model anyway. Harmless. But let's read on. Promotes wacky, no it doesn't. Min-maxing gameplay, no it doesn't. You just measure. Is measuring wacky and min-maxing? I don't know. It's got a 2-inch range, so you measure 2 inches, and if it's within 2 inches, you can hit it. And if it's out of 2 inches, you can't hit it. At a certain point, a rule is a rule. I don't understand the wacky min-maxing gameplay part, where toxic players can bully others to overmeasure their eligible models and undermeasure their opponent's eligible. Just don't cheat then. Don't let your opponent cheat. Yeah, it's that. Hey, is that 2 inches? Let's look. Do we both agree? Move on. I don't think it promotes cheating. I think if you let somebody cheat, then, I don't know, don't do that. What do you mean? There should be a simpler way of determining combat eligible models, such as base combat. Yeah, and now we go back to agreeing in the second half. And adding benefits such as longer reach or more ranks onto war scrolls. Yeah, perfectly fair. I don't know what this bizarre diatribe is in the middle here, but you started strong and you ended strong. Just don't let people cheat against you. And if people insist on cheating against you, then consider not playing against cheaters. Age of Sigmar is a pretty social game. Everybody eventually kind of figures out that that guy over there, kind of a cheater, maybe don't want to play against that guy. I don't know. Be the type of opponent that people would want to play against, because it's fun. I don't know. Well, you know, that's Jimmy. He always overmeasures and knuckles his guys a little farther and misinterprets the rules all the time and plays loose, but always somehow in his favor. That's just how he is. Well, I don't want to play against just how he is. I want to play against somebody who follows the rules. That's my choice. That's my right. Yeah, don't cheat, maybe. Play by the rules, maybe. This isn't Nom. This is Age of Sigmar. There are rules. Yeah, loose Jimmy. Next. Age of Sigmar is a terribly designed game, and that's exactly why I like it. This was me in first edition when it got points. It was the Wild... It had points, right? But it was the Wild West. Lightning loops in the corner. Fucking Doctor Doom versus Zero. Everyone... Nonsense, just combos everywhere. Not even playing the same game against each other. It was wild. It was so imbalanced. It was crazy. It was taking rules that were not well thought out and just bending them to your will. In other words, it was fun. It was awesome. And as the rules get better and better, we are losing something. Maybe this one had you in the first half, but unironically, true. The lore isn't bad, but no one cares about it. True. Yep, that's it. Yep. It started out kind of bad. I'm gonna say it. But it very quickly got pretty good, actually. Yeah. However, god damn, neutron star hot take. How does it feel to be this correct and also this inflammatory? My hot take, by the way. Age of Sigmar lore and setting and world and characters. Just better than Warhammer Fantasy Battle. Less fleshed out, doesn't have 30 years of books behind it, but it's not boring and completely derivative of Lord of the Rings. 40k shits on both of them by several orders of magnitude, but now we're getting into opinions. And they're wasting the potential of this lore. Age of Sigmar could be... Age of Sigmar could be like Planescape meets Elden Ring. That's what it could be. They could do that. Because if you zoom out a little bit and just go 30,000 foot view, it's a post-apocalyptic multi-planar realm mythic godly fantasy. It's literally Planescape meets Elden Ring. It could be that. And it's also post-apocalypse too. But instead it's the Cum Gulch or whatever in fighting over that in Gur next to a big lake called Big Lake. I don't know. It could be fucking sick. Regardless. I don't know what the fuck the thing is called in Gur. But even, you know, I think the basis for the setting is much more interesting. Old cast is best cast. Aegis Armor is what made Stormcast. Yeah, it's what made no one like them. Good meme. Nobody actually thinks this. Good try. I mean, somebody had to attempt it. It's the hot take thing, but... yeah. Good try, I guess, but you're not fooling anyone. No one has this opinion. Who's the equivalent to the Elden Ring that flying suplexes you? Let's go. Bastion Carthalos. No, I'm kidding. That was the name of your high school band? Nice. No, it's Cum Gulch. You got it right? Alright. Has there been an anti-ogre take yet? Kinda, but it was obvious. And I had already gone through my, stages of grief, you know? There was one where it was like Beastclaw Raiders is going to get squatted into ogres, and it's just going to be Gutbusters the book, basically, moving forward. But I knew that when we got our second battle tome. And so the writing's been on the wall for a while, and so I got my grief out of the way already, and so the hot take didn't affect me. Oh, I should point out, actually, that the Retributors are the best design for first edition Stormcast, and do actually look quite charming and huge. So, Retributors, one of the old cast that looks great. Also, Lord Relictor, one of the old cast that looks great. Maybe Castellant, kinda, even though he's a ludicrous pincushion of beef. But for the most part, yeah. Universally hated for the most part. And universally beloved and thanked every time it's been greatly improved over the years, and it has. Liberators were probably the worst. No, Lord Celestant. Celestant Prime, probably the worst. And then after that, yeah, just the basic Liberator was a huge mistake, obviously. Anyway. But enough of dunking on the libs. Am I right, gamers? Headward, hey, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. And it's the worst paint scheme you could possibly think of. You couldn't think of a paint scheme that would make people hate it more than that. I think they were actually trying to get people not to like it with gold and blue. Holy shit. Anyway, AoS would explode in popularity if it wouldn't focus on PvP and instead have a PvE co-op mode realized through software and AI. This is also my hot take for 40k. Nice. Yeah, true. Did ChatGPT write this and you just asked it to replace World of Warcraft with AoS? Good meme. Elves don't need long hair, and in fact, they look good with short hair. God damn it, he's true. Let me quick close my folder of elftomboy.businesspapers.legitimatebusiness.folder. Yeah, you're just true. Cold take. Too true. Next. Not all models with hooves should go to Beast of Chaos, and in fact, the diversity is better for the game. I think Bloodthirsters have hooves, right? Is this true? I think Bloodthirsters have hooves. Kragnos has hooves. And there's probably a hoof here or there. A lot of Slanesh has hooves, or maybe one hoof, and then the other one is like a leather boot, high heel. Yeah, Centaurian Mars. There's a lot of Slaves to Darkness stuff. I guess there's a bunch of actual horses, but I assume they weren't talking about horses, right? Oh yeah, LRL. Not almost with whoosh. This person is clearly responding to the outcry of Beasts of Chaos players whenever cloven-hooved mammals get put anywhere but in their army, right? Some ungulates, or unguits, right? So I think they're responding to the Beast of Chaos whining about like Kragnos not being a BOC model, or the new cool looking Doom Bulls in STD not going in. So I think this is a response to that. So philosophically, I suppose I kind of agree with them. Thematically. But there's plenty of hooves. It sucks when something is clearly like probably designed for you, and then somewhere in the pipeline it's just shifted off. I really think that's what happened to Kragnos, to be honest. But Big Hoove trying to get me to play Kragnos, yeah. You'll try that again. What about Silent Ones as a new faction instead of Umbernath or Chorfs? There was a hot take about Silent Ones earlier. And so I got to that one. It was maybe the third or fourth one. In general, no. There's already too many armies in the game. There's too many factions in the game. We are very approaching 30 factions, 30 armies. There's too many characters. There's too many armies. Chill with the out of nowhere stuff mentioned one paragraph ever 20 years ago on a wiki. Bring in Malarian. He's already a god in the setting, sure. But in general, I think chill on the out of nowhere random new stuff. You got 26 or 27 armies. Eat your vegetables before you get your cake, right? Yeah, Malarian and Grungni then, in general. Therodons and Kragnos were going to be BOC, but they're getting squatted to Old World, so we gotta spread them out. I didn't say it, you did, but I know we were all thinking it. Narrative is the best game mode in AoS? No. This is a meme. It is my firm belief that nobody actually plays narrative. Essentially, nobody actually does this. They just play matched play without battle tactics and call it narrative because they came up with a reason for their guys to fight, or just didn't even do that. Hey, we do that too. There's this silent majority of narrative players that you always hear about. I don't think they actually exist. They just play matched play and ignore whatever one rule is the most annoying, like battle tactics or priority or something. And then they just call it narrative because when things are happening, they're like, damn, it's like this guy's doing that. Yeah, we do that anyway. Cold take and wrong. The setting is actually superior to Warhammer Fantasy Battle. True. And 40k, very not true. It just hasn't had as long to be fleshed out. Okay. 40k shits on almost every other setting ever made. It's simply a genius setting. It's the best part about 40. Their setting is so good. It's actually nuts. It's perfect, almost. The plot, the characters, the plot points, where it's gone, the story, but the setting is fucking actual genius. Warhammer Fantasy Battle is boring. It's silly. It's sillier Lord of the Rings, where every race was just given a different country stereotype. Boring. Actual boring setting. So you're half right. You're half right. Hot take man. If you said, like, I don't know, if you didn't use the word setting, because 40k is an amazing setting. Amazing setting, amazing art, everything else kind of mid. Next. Strike and Fade is extremely unfun. I bet it is to play against. Yeah, probably for the average player. This is probably a lukewarm take. Yeah, I bet for the average player, if you're chilling, and then your tree opponent is like, so anyway, I teleport across the battlefield, fuck your guys up, peace out. Go. And you're like, oh, okay. It's everything I don't like about shooting except more damage because it's melee. Yeah, I would understand if someone wouldn't like to get struck and faded. Shit's fun when you're doing it, though. Alright. I don't think you need to nerf it. I don't think you need to do anything about it. It's not fun when my guys die. Yeah, you know, that's gonna happen. So, yeah, I mean, normal take, I guess. Vampire Coast is overrated and shouldn't be introduced into AoS. Of course, yeah. Put this in Old World. Put this crap Put this crap in Old World, where it belongs. Also, pirates are stupid. Simply a correct take. Yeah, I have no problems with this. It's approaching absolute zero as far as a hot take. Pirates are stupid as a concept. And Vampire Coast, which was like barely kind of almost existed in the video game version, just put it in Old World, where it belongs. Let them deal with that. The City's new book is top 3 worst books since the start of AoS. I guess it depends on what you mean by worst. It's very powerful. Do you mean from an internal balance perspective? Do you mean from a haves and have-nots? Do you mean from kind of soft squatting everything but humans and maybe dark elves in there by giving them almost functionally impossible to use bad rule? I don't know what you mean. Lore. I'm gonna need more information than this. But, or maybe from a NPE perspective. Top 3 NPE? Wait, since the start of AoS, now you're just being hyperbolic. We have to just make it 3rd edition. You have to call it 3rd edition at least. It ruins the theme of jolly cooperation. That's true. It didn't have that theme in the rules last time either, just in the lore. So there is that. It's always been a racist book. It just shouldn't have been. I don't know if I agree, but it has a lot of problems, sure. You know? It has a lot of problems, sure. Because Cities is 100% reactive, you get MPE playing it, it's because you didn't know what they can do. Yeah, I mean, I played against it once, and I purposefully didn't pay attention to what it could do. And I like tried to do something and just got destroyed. And then I tried to do something else, normal, and just got destroyed. And tried to do like one other thing and just got destroyed. Like the game against Cities was, alright, I'm gonna move here and then do this. Oh, I'm dead. Okay, I'm gonna charge that. I'm gonna keep out of range of that just in case. Oh no, I'm dead. And then now it's your turn and then you kill the rest of my... Okay, I'm just dead. Alright, I can't do anything. Got it. And then I'm like, damn, City of Sigmar's as a army is like super sick. I just gotta, clearly I have to learn like what they can do to be able to play against them, which is probably a death sentence for Age of Sigmar. Historically speaking, armies that appeared really good until you learned the trick to how to play against them and then they were fine, that's not okay apparently. That's against the law. Usually those armies get nerfed real hard. Because asking players to get good to beat something is apparently not alright. That's not okay. You can't do that. We'll see. Second edition COS was the most accessible army for bringing in units outside of COS. Yeah, it was designed with that in mind, and now it's all closed up. I see. Next. A lot of the faction leader models being gigantic centerpieces is an often Flanderization of what the factions should be. Flanderization is the process through which a single element of a character's personality, often an originally mild element, is inflated in importance over the course of a work until it becomes the character's primary defining trait. Okay. I don't think that applies here. You're starting from scratch, and you're trying to create a representative of a faction. And so naturally it would feature prominent, or perhaps over-prominent, features of that whole thing kind of represented on the one guy. I think that's kind of reasonable, even. Flanderization is like, over time, one thing changing. Making a centerpiece isn't one thing changing over time. It's kind of doing it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. Thank you for introducing me to a new word that I hadn't heard before. But in general, I don't agree. Yeah, I recognized. I read Flanderization. I'm like, oh, like Flanders from The Simpsons, but I didn't know the actual definition, so it was kind of cool. Anyway, thanks for letting me know a new word, but your take is maybe wrong, or maybe too obviously a vehicle for that word when it doesn't quite apply. Never spend time on TV tropes? No, I don't. What is that? Is that? I assume that's a website? I don't know. AoS's combat resolution of roll to hit, wound, save, and potentially additional rolls beyond is wildly outdated and cripples the pacing of the game. It takes too long, sure. It's interesting because I hear this a lot, and then I hear also equally, probably more, I hear, we need to add strength and toughness back. We need to make this shit take way longer for even more granularity. We want this to take even longer. And so it's weird that the two halves are kind of going at each other. I don't think they're ever going to get rid of something. This is too quintessentially Games Workshop-ian, right? Hit, wound, save, rolling a million dice to get the result of anything, and the chance of any one result working is very, very low. This is just kind of the core functionality of seemingly games that they make. Do I want combat to resolve faster? Sure. I don't know that it's going to change much. Also consider, the more dice you roll, the more you get pulled towards the bell curve, right? If you roll fewer dice, the game would be more sporadic, more swingy. Outliers would happen more often, you know, which is probably a softening mechanism that they're adding in there on purpose so that they don't have, you know, the crazy type of games. Sit down for 2 hours, mow the lawn, get a brewski mixed with a monster, throw burgers on the grill, play AoS, true. Just the old worlders trying to push their nostalgia. They have a game for that. Go play that one. The reason GW has to roll out of dice is because it averages out, true. I don't like this trend where everything needs to be faster, your attention span demands faster, things can be more ponderous. They can. In general, I agree with you. For almost everything. But AoS games do take too long. Necromunda has effects for hitting but not wounding, which is nice. But the gates for hit, wound, save don't really matter. If at any point a dice fails, it fails, yeah. But the game would be more swingy, yes. You're a patient and tactile being, so rolling lots of dice and taking your time is enjoyable, yeah. It kind of, I guess it depends on the type of game I'm playing, in a sense. Sage Mountain, thanks for the follow. In Age of Sigmar, I mostly favor streamlining rules. But in tabletop RPGs, I mostly favor way more crunch. And endlessly dicking around with +1 here, -1 here. Choose between 50 backstory options. What's a combo I can qualify for? So to me, I guess it just depends on the game I'm playing. 4 hours to make a character, I mean, that's alright, but I would have preferred it to take a little longer. You know, how many Rifts books can I pull from? Are we getting South America? Can I do some New West? Can we pull in from both 2 different books? But then for Age of Sigmar, I'm like, let's streamline this shit. I want to get done in 2 hours. So it's, I suppose it depends on the game. Ahem. Fireslayers are a diverse faction. Only people who are unfamiliar with the faction see them as playing and looking the same. Okay. We're all racist against Fireslayers. Oh, we all look the same, huh? Typical elf. Can't tell the difference between mirrored CAD models with the same fucking haircut. Rook the same meme.jpg, huh? They look, each half of them looks the same, because, never mind. Alright, good meme, good meme. Why are all the hot takes burning US Postal Service trucks? Why are all the hot takes AI images? Am I right? Because we weren't trying to spend money and they probably Googled it, and because Google is completely infested with AI art now that you almost can't escape it. But what are you going to do? A review specific to the AoS line? Yeah. But you can give me any other take you want and I'll probably respond to it. Sakari. Yeah, SG Arcade probably just Googled burning mail and whatever came up, came up. It's not his fault the internet is infested with AI art. Just because I'm short and naked with a beard and an axe doesn't make me like everybody else in the army that is also short and naked with a beard and an axe. Yeah, true. Death scented. I don't know. I think I'd want my post box on a pole that beefy. At least it shouldn't... Yeah, jeez. That's a telephone pole, actually. The beef. I wonder how far down it goes. How does one submit takes? On Discord or Twitter, I have a link, and I kept it up for a week, and people could submit them. You click the link, and it's like a form you fill out, where you really, the only thing you fill out is your hot take. It's anonymous, because I wanted fiery ones. I haven't gotten crazy fiery ones yet. I've been selecting for, I guess we're accidentally selecting for people who watch me, and so their takes are really reasonable and shit. Even the unreasonable ones are pretty reasonable. And then the ones that aren't are clearly memes. But I'm having a good time anyway. Can you add one here? But of course, that is the cool, that's the gimmick with Twitch. Live interaction. Holy fuck. Have more hot takes? Find the pin in Discord for our next edition. By the way, we've done 51. The next 50 are already done, and we will begin doing them now.